People settling with their relationship, or is it making an intelligent decision? Let me go ahead and play this clip.
A lot of people get married to people that they do not love, because what ends up happening is that you make a rational decision. It's like a business decision. You look at a person and you say, okay, she's going to be a good mother to my children. She cooks, she cleans, she's not super mixy. Am I madly in love with her? No, I'm not. And the same for women. I think women, they'll marry a man like, okay, he's a good provider. He has a solid job. And that's not necessarily a bad thing, right? How do you feel about that business decision when it comes to a relationship of making a rational decision as opposed to making a decision based on love and romance?
I mean, I think too many people in many areas of their lives settle for what they don't want because they are not comfortable enough to be fearless to go after what they really want and just
is it settling? Is it settling, or is it making an intelligent decision?
The men who ended up settling, they end up chasing who they really love or desire out in the streets. When I asked a guy, yo, you married, you happily married? And he like, I mean, yeah, you know, wife amazing. She do homework with the kids and she supported me when I was a bum ass dude. And now I got some money and I'm still a bum ass dude, but I just act like I'm not one. And I just cover the bills to just keep her there, but don't do nothing extra. And then they're tricking off on a girl who got the OnlyFans or work.
I think it might be a bit of a combination of the both. I mean, I think there are some people are settling, and there are some people who are making very calculated decisions about who they want to be the mother of their children. And the women are, you know, making a calculated decision at times of who will be the best provider and the best role model for their sons. I think far too often there are people who are not thinking of any of that. They're not, you know what I'm saying? They're just in the mix and living life and oops, you know, we have a child on the way and these things are happening, you know? I think now with more and more conversations, I think people are kind of moving a little bit more carefully about the people that they're selecting. There was something that the brother had brought up and it really, really caught my attention, right? And he talked about the brother that is married, but he's tricking off on the OnlyFans girl, right? I think for dudes, it's okay to kind of, you know, not get everything you want, right? I think the closest that you could get, because I think, you know, men do date down, but I think that if you got a chick that is an amazing woman, who is an amazing woman to your children, and she shows up in every possible way as a wife and stuff like that, I think that the excitement component of doing things, going out, you know, having adventure, traveling and stuff like that, I don't think that romance and that completely has to die. I think that people need to kind of find those moments that where they can have spark and a connection. You know what I'm saying? I don't think that the romance needs to be thrown out, but I do think that you need to be intelligent and calculated about who you should have that romance with, and do they have all those intangibles. I don't think that we should, you know, align ourselves with one extreme or the other. I think there is a balance in between where you can have it all, you know what I'm saying, in a balanced manner. But I think some people are just not qualifying themselves for the people that they want. You know what I'm saying? They're just not putting themselves in the position, or they're not the person that they will qualify for who they want.
Lewis, I definitely like the fact that you mentioned the word balance, right? That's a really good thing. But I say doesn't always work out that way. And as far as men, you know, dating down, we say it a lot that men date down, but in all honesty, I think we're dating with who we align with, who we actually qualify for, because if you could do better, you probably would, right? So even though a female might not be at the same social status, there's different categories, right? But you actually are picking something that you know is sustainable for you, right? And we play it safe, but that's what it is. We know that this particular woman is, or at least we think that she's going to ride with us, right? Now, as far as picking women, I think it's very important to focus on compatibility, right? Me personally, I would say, all right, like some of the things he mentioned, is she going to be a good mother to my children, right? Do we align? Are we of the same faith? I think that's important. does she handle money the way that I handle money? Right. Those are the things that you need to be looking into. It's great if you can love somebody, but you can't chase that as like your primary focus. It's great if you have that. That's a bonus, but love that's fickle, man. Females can switch up on you in a minute. So you're better off at least looking in the direction of how compatible we are, right? How do we have the same lifestyle? Do we have the same eating habits? Does she work out like I hit the gym? That type of thing. So just try to find somebody who aligns with your beliefs and just your way of life, right? And hopefully you will love them. I think that love can grow, and likely if you do a lot of the same things, you have similar interest, then it's a lot easier to love that person. But if you are chasing love primarily, then that's going to be settling, because you'll be miserable once you find out that nothing is functional. If your relationship really isn't functional, then you're going to have a lot more problems. And that love, right? And how I feel about women in their love, right? It all depends on how they feel about you. So let's say they loved you at a level 8. Once that you start doing things that they don't really like, they're going to hate you that same thing. So that love and hate is pretty much the same feeling inverted. Whatever amount of passion she had for you is what she's going to have for you when you start to do things she doesn't like.
Um, hmm. I would say sometimes what would be considering what would be considered settling might be um the intelligent decision to make. You know, like a lot of times what's exciting to you and what might make you feel really enthusiastic and exciting in the long run isn't good for you. Like for example, like candy or dessert might get people excited. A lot of people more excited about dessert than they are about dinner. But dinner is what breakfast, lunch, and dinner. That's what keeps you alive. That's what sustains your body. It's not the treat at the end. So I think once you get to a certain point in life, you gotta decide if you want to chase what makes you excited or chase what actually you're compatible with and what enriches you and what causes actual harmony in your life. And sometimes what causes harmony in your life might not look like that thing that gets your desires stirring up, and that goes for both men and women. You know, for same thing for a woman. Like the guy that might be the best partner for her might not be the guy that might get her as excited as maybe a certain famous person or a celebrity or whatever the case is. So yeah, sometimes settling is the most intelligent decision. You got to be picky about what it is you want, but I think it's more important to focus on, like Trev said, the compatibility than anything else.
Yeah, I don't think settling is a good idea. I mean, I think people who settle don't know their own potential. I think when I say that, that means you don't know whether you're on a upward trajectory. If you look at a graph of where your progress is, when we talk about leveling up as a man, you got a lot of men out here today that's choosing women whenever they're not completely accomplished, or they haven't established themselves or where they want to be or where they even think or believe they can be at in life as a man. So I think it's having good judgment of where you want to be and where you can actually get to when we talk about socioeconomic status. But you picking a girl whenever you earning an average income, but you have a drive, you have a work ethic that can project you towards a higher level. And then being aware, having being cognizant and being aware of the plethora of women that you'll be exposed to, the options that you'll be able to choose from whenever you get to that level. Being aware of that will allow you to not settle. You get what I'm saying? So, for example, if I'm working at freaking Home Depot, I'm working my ass off, and then I got a second job working at a gas station, whatever. Uh, I'm making about maybe 40 grand a year as a 25-year-old, but I'm on pace to when I get to 35, 40 to be making about 90 to 100,000 a year or better. I'm not going to be so quick to settle for the type of girl that I can attract, the type of girl that I can get at that level. And there's other things that come into effect other than just your paycheck or the level of salary. But it's just being aware of where you can get at, where you're going at, as a man, and how you can level up and choosing wisely. Because I mean, if you want to be honest, man, if we was all to be honest on this panel, we know that depending on our socioeconomic status, we're going to be exposed to a totally different group of women. It may be a better group of women than we would if we was just an average earner. I mean, that's just given. I think we can all honestly agree to that. And if you're willing to be patient and wait and just grind and do the work, then you can get that. But I think a lot of us just, we want to get some pussy. So like, I want my cake now. And then whenever I'm done, and I'll push her off to the side and then I'll go get what I'm worth now. And that's when we become a part of the problem that we talk about on a day-to-day basis in the space about how women are 304s and they end up being single mothers. That's how you can see yourself becoming part of the issue or creating the issue that we constantly talk about. But we as men got to be aware and be honest and be, choose wisely and not settle.